Hi, I'm Nick Mercurio. I'm the phys ed teacher over at GCP.
I'm Lisa Santos, phys ed teacher at Manor Oaks.
Brendan Green, phys ed teacher over here at Hillside Grade School.
Okay, so we do a maturation program with the 5th and 6th graders every spring. And the program is very simple. We show videos, and then if the kids have any questions, we ask questions based on whatever the videos show. If there's anything that's not in the video, we refer it back to you. So the way we're going to do it this year is the first video you're going to see is going to be the 5th grade video that we show the 5th graders. We're also going to show the 6th graders this video because they did not get to see it last year because everything went down right when we were about to do it, and we did not show it to them. So the first video you're going to see is the 5th grade video, and then the second video you're going to see is the 6th grade video. Both videos you can't hear. Oh, someone said they can't hear. Can everybody else hear? Yes. Okay. Okay, so the second video you're going to see is the 6th grade video. And then what we'll do is, after we show the videos, we will take any questions that you may have. As far as the way we're going to run the program, we are going to set up a time in March for all of the 5th and 6th graders that are remote, and the 4 of us, the 3 of us and Miss Rudd, who's at Road School, she's not here right now, we are all going to we're going to be on with all the remote kids that day, the 5th and 6th graders. We just have to
March 18th is the date.
March 18th, right? Yep. And then I am going to show my 5th graders that I have at GCP. I will show them the 5th grade video, and then I will show my 6th graders. I have one class of 6th graders at GCP, and I will show the 6th graders both videos. And I'm sure that Mrs. Santos and Mr. Green and Miss Rudd will be doing the exact same thing when they have their 5th and 6th graders alone as well. So that's how it's going to work. There is no other curriculum. There are no other materials but the videos that you're going to see today. So if there are no other questions, I am going to hopefully not embarrass myself as I try to present this screen to everybody, and we will get started if there are no questions.
Does anyone have an issue with sound still, or is the sound okay? Sound is okay. All right.
We'll give our emails at the end too, if you feel more comfortable.
Oh yeah,
I have that ready to go, Mr. Green.
Look at Mrs. What a team we are! All right, here we go. Hey, how do you do this thing? No, I'm only kidding. No, I'm not kidding. Here we go. I don't know why this is not going on now.
It's going on now.
It's coming.
Okay.
You've probably heard your parents talk about how fast you've grown.
Can you hear that?
Yes, but we can't see it, Mr. Mercurio. Put the video.
Bigger than mine. Sound familiar?
Yep, there you go.
You've experienced that kind of a growth spurt recently, but it doesn't happen to everyone at the same time.
As your body starts changing, it is important to know what is happening, how you are changing, and what your new responsibilities will be.
When you learn about your body and understand what's happening as you grow, you'll be more comfortable, and it can make the whole experience a little easier.
There's a lot to know about growing up. Growing, that's the key word here, because growth is what it's all about.
Our initial growth spurt is really fast. The human gestation period is 9 months. In that short time, a single cell grows into a fully developed baby.
And during its first year of life, a baby can grow to 3 times its birth weight. She will continue to grow rapidly until she's about 3 years old. By age 3, a toddler may be 5 times as heavy and twice as tall as he was at birth.
But then the growth rate settles down. A girl will grow a little less than 2 inches over the next few years.
And a boy will grow a little more than 2 inches per year.
Then as early as 8 years old, but sometimes later, we enter into a new phase of rapid growth called adolescence.
Adolescence is the period when you think your feet are too big, or your arms too skinny, or your knees too knobby.
Or you think you're too tall or not tall enough. Or your breasts are too big or not big enough.
During adolescence, not everyone matures at the same rate. We're all a little different. Adolescence starts somewhere between ages 8 and 14.
Most girls begin to mature earlier than most boys. Girls may start their growth spurt as early as age 8.
For boys, it's normally a couple of years later, around age 11. Girls just seem to get a head start on growing up. During adolescence, you may gain 10 to 20 pounds in a single year and grow several inches taller, and the shape of your body begins to change.
Girls' breasts will begin to develop and their hips round out.
While boys become more muscular, developing wider shoulders, longer arms, and larger hands. Their sex organs will grow bigger too.
Both girls and boys will grow hair under their arms and in the pubic area. Some boys will develop thicker hair on their arms, chest, and legs, while others will not.
For boys, this is the time when you may begin to grow facial hair too. Those who are developing heavier beards may begin to shave early in adolescence. It's important to purchase your own razor. Never use anyone else's razor, as it can spread disease.
And some girls may begin to shave their legs and underarms. Remember, never use another person's razor. Like other bodily changes during adolescence, hair growth varies widely among individuals.
Because your body is growing, your vocal cords also expand, and that results in a deeper voice. This voice change isn't too noticeable in girls, but for boys, it is. You may find your voice changing, cracking, or squeaking at the most embarrassing times.
When that happens, don't be embarrassed. Just shrug it off with a bit of humor. After all, it happens to everyone.
Some of the other changes your body undergoes during adolescence can be irritating. Both boys and girls perspire more, so you'll need to bathe daily if you don't already. And you may want to use an underarm deodorant or antiperspirant.
Another annoyance of adolescence is the appearance of pimples and blackheads, a skin condition called acne. Acne is caused by increased secretions from the oil glands in your skin. It appears mainly on your face, but sometimes on your back or chest. Both boys and girls can minimize the problem by keeping the skin clean.
Eating a nutritious, well-balanced diet and drinking plenty of water will also help keep acne at bay. Regular exercise and the right amount of rest will help too.
In addition to the glands that cause you to perspire and to have acne, there are other glands in your body. They produce substances your body needs to grow and function properly. These glands are controlled by a single gland located at the base of your brain. It's called the pituitary gland.
The pituitary produces hormones, which are substances that control your growth. During adolescence, the pituitary not only increases hormone production, it also produces, for the first time, a new hormone that stimulates your sex glands.
In girls, the sex glands are called the ovaries. In boys, they are called the testicles. During adolescence, the ovaries begin to release egg cells, and the testicles begin to produce sperm cells. These are called sex cells. When a mature male sex cell, a sperm, combines with a mature female sex cell, an egg, the result is the beginning of new life.
The time in life when a boy's body becomes capable of producing sperm cells and a girl's egg cells mature is called puberty.
The release of egg cells in a woman's body happens at regular monthly intervals and is called the menstrual cycle. It begins during puberty and lasts until she is around 50 years old. Once a month, one of the woman's ovaries releases a ripe egg cell, which is carried by one of the fallopian tubes to the uterus, a process we call ovulation. If the female egg cell combines with a male sperm cell along the way, it becomes fertilized. The fertilized egg cell will attach itself to the wall of the uterus, where it will grow into a baby. The uterus builds up a lining of blood and mucous membrane that nourishes and protects the egg as it grows. But if the egg is not fertilized, it passes out of the body through the vagina along with the blood and mucous membrane lining. This process is called menstruation, and it occurs about 2 weeks after ovulation. A woman menstruates about once a month. A girl's first menstrual periods may be irregular, but they usually occur about once every 26 to 32 days. A high level of stress, travel, or a change in diet are some things that may cause a woman to skip a menstrual period. When a woman is pregnant, she doesn't menstruate until after the baby is born.
Unlike girls, boys have no monthly cycle. Male sex cells, sperm, are produced constantly. They are stored in the testicles, which rest behind the penis, and in a sac of skin called the scrotum. The tube, called the main sperm duct, runs from the back of each testicle to the urethra, a channel which leads out of the body through the penis. The urethra carries urine out of the body as well as sperm. Nerves in the area shut off the connection from the bladder where urine is stored whenever sperm is passing through. Glands in the sperm duct produce semen, which carries the sperm through the penis where it is released in a process called ejaculation. The penis must first become hard or erect to release sperm. Sometimes, while he sleeps, a boy's penis may become erect and release a small amount of semen. This is called a nocturnal emission, or wet dream, and is a perfectly normal thing that happens to most boys.
As your body progresses through adolescence, it becomes physically capable of creating new life.
But as human beings, we are not emotionally ready to take on the awesome responsibility of a baby just because we're biologically capable of creating one.
At this time in your life, you're changing not only physically, but emotionally as well. New and surprising feelings arise in all of us as we go through adolescence.
Self-consciousness, curiosity about sexuality, excitement. Sometimes you may feel like your emotions are running wild.
Remember that there's a reason for these new emotions. They're triggered by the biological changes happening in your body. The hormones that are changing your body from child to adult also work on your emotions.
Which is why there's more to being an adult than physical development.
And it's why you have to learn new ways of behavior as you grow up. You have to learn to control your emotions and accept the responsibility for your behavior.
That's what maturity is all about. Not just physical growth, but mental and emotional growth as well. Thinking before you act. Looking at the consequences of your behavior. These are the marks of maturity.
Developing emotional maturity isn't always easy. You have to learn to live responsibly before you can love responsibly.
You have to learn to respect the feelings of others and to understand your own feelings. You have to begin to find your own place in the world. You need to find out what kind of person you want to be as you grow and mature. You will have ups and downs, but you'll learn a lot about yourself and about others.
And as you grow, you will learn about personal responsibility. And when the time comes, be ready to explore the joys of love and intimacy.
When you have questions, and you will, always seek out a trusted adult, your parent, teacher, or counselor. They want to help.
Pay attention to your body. You're growing, and you need proper nutrition and good health habits.
Eat right. Drink plenty of water. Get lots of exercise. Your muscles need it. And the proper amount of rest, too.
And study hard in school. Find out what things interest you the most. It will take a lot of effort to become the person you want to be.
Adolescence isn't easy, but it's something everybody experiences. Now it's your turn. You're growing up.
Okay, so that is the 5th grade video. And now I'm going to put in the 6th grade video, and then we'll come back together if there are any questions and wrap it up, okay?
Yes, they are in DVD form, in case you're all wondering what the fumbling around is.
Yeah.
We did have them converted from VHS. Well, one of them.
Oh, here we go. Now I have to be quiet because it's me. Very quickly, because this could be confusing. It's very straight for us because we've been doing it a long time. The video you just saw was 5th grade only. The video that's coming up is 6th grade only. Because sixth grade did not get the maturation program last year, they're going to see the 5th grade video and the 6th grade video. Okay?
This is a newborn baby, 1 day old.
How does it grow into an adult?
I think the human body grows by a bunch of cells in your bodies. They divide and they just grow.
They get bigger and they stretch out and your cells multiply. Basically what happens when you're growing up is all of your cells divide and keep dividing and they reproduce so much that there's a lot more of them, so there's more of you.
The human body grows slowly. Even when you're sleeping, it grows, but it's slow.
I don't think you can see your body growing.
No, you can't see the human body grow. It just grows.
At the beginning, growth is very fast. By the time a boy and girl are 3, they'll probably be twice as tall as they were when they were born. Then growth slows a little, but it's still pretty fast. By 6, boys are usually a little bit bigger than girls.
But not always. All these children are 6 years old.
All parts of your body don't grow at the same rate. Your legs and arms start growing and your head stays about the same.
No, your body grows at all different speeds. See, my feet grow a lot faster than anything else, I think.
I think that like little parts grow faster. I just don't know because everyone grows differently, and so you just kind of have to wait until it's all done.
It'll all balance out.
Inside our bodies are small organs called glands. The glands produce substances called hormones. Hormones are carried to different parts of the body by the bloodstream. One of the things hormones do is act as triggers to regulate the rate of growth.
Hormones also make things happen that are necessary for life and good health.
To keep your body healthy, just get a lot of exercise and eat a lot of healthy food.
A lot of sunshine, a lot of exercise, and a lot of sleep.
Food, shelter, water, oxygen, and love.
Stay away from all the bad stuff like drugs and alcohol.
As growth continues, arms and legs and bodies generally grow longer. By 9, both boys and girls usually look slimmer.
Around 12, girls start growing faster than boys, so that as they reach adolescence, girls are often bigger and look more physically mature. But not always. All of these boys and girls are 12 years old.
I really don't think that girls mature faster than guys. I definitely think girls mature faster than boys.
I'd say most definitely girls do mature faster than boys.
Well, some of my friends that are boys, they have little mustaches and their voice is getting deeper, but they squeak, so that's how boys go through puberty.
Well, I'm 12, almost 13, and some of the changes in puberty are my voice, how my voice is changing.
I'm 13, and one of the embarrassing things is that my voice keeps on going high and low. It's like cracking.
I guess my voice is changing, and I'm getting hair into my armpits.
I've also been getting hair on my chest.
I love shaving. My dad hates it. That's because he shaves like every day. I only shave like 3 times a week.
Voice gets deeper. Hormones kick in.
the development of sperm cells, the hair all over, facial hair, pimples, and you get pubic hair, and you grow bigger, taller.
Puberty is brought about by the actions of the sex hormones. The male sex hormones are produced in a pair of glands called the testes. The hormones help direct the boy's development into a man. Hair grows in the pubic region and under the arms. He has to shave if he doesn't want a beard. Usually, when a boy is between 10 and 16, his testes begin producing sperm cells. These are living sperm cells, here magnified 1,000 times. The part at the front of each sperm cell contains the nucleus. The wiggling tail-like part helps the sperm cell move. The sperm cells are stored in the testes until signals from the nervous system cause the penis to be filled with blood so that it becomes rigid and erect. This condition is called an erection. Only when the penis is erect can sperm cells be ejaculated from it. The sperm cells mix with fluids from other glands to form a thick whitish liquid called semen. Ejaculation happens during sexual intercourse, by masturbation, and sometimes during sleep. The ejaculation of semen from the erect penis is a completely normal function of the male body.
Let's see. I've noticed tons of changes in girls, besides just noticing girls. Once you reach puberty, you notice girls more. You notice, they grow certain things. It's fine. It's great.
When girls hit puberty, our breasts get bigger, we get body hair.
You grow taller and you get like hips and a waist instead of like a straight figure.
In puberty, you start to menstruate and you have to shave your legs. The most hard part about you growing up is when you get your period and you just have to deal with it even though you're at school. It could happen pretty rapidly. Sometimes it happens early for girls, Sometimes, girls don't get it till they're really late, so.
The female sex hormones are produced in the ovaries. These hormones help to direct a girl's development into a woman. Hair begins to grow in the pubic region and under the arms. And her breasts begin to develop. When a girl is between 8 and 16, her ovaries begin to produce egg cells. This is a human egg cell, magnified 1,000 times. It's really smaller than the point of a pin. About once every month, an egg cell matures and leaves an ovary. It moves slowly through one of the fallopian tubes and into the uterus. The lining of the uterus becomes richly supplied with blood to nourish the egg. But if the egg cell is not fertilized, that is, if it is not united with a sperm cell, the egg fails to grow and it disintegrates. The blood-rich lining of the uterus wall is no longer needed and is discharged from the body, along with some blood, through the vagina. This process is called menstruation and is an entirely normal function of the female body.
I'm definitely taking more care of myself now than I did before. Like, your face and your hair get a lot more oily, so you have to wash them a lot.
I started combing my hair every day, taking a shower every day.
And we want to not smell funny or look funny. We want to look good for our peers and, to get a member of the opposite sex to like us.
And I just wanted to look really good and to try and impress girls.
Yeah, we're all interested in girls.
That's probably what becoming a teenager is for, to become interested in the opposite sex.
We said we need to talk about two things, philosophy or girls. We spend the whole night talking about girls.
I personally get along with boys better than girls. And so it's kind of hard because you want to talk to them, but they like look at things differently than you do.
It's hard for us to express what we're feeling a lot of the time. And when you look around and you see girls saying all their emotions all at once.
One of the hardest parts about growing up is adults expect you to act older and be more mature when you don't feel that you're getting much older.
During adolescence, you're really vulnerable to other people's opinions, and you're really sensitive, and it's just a really hard and emotional time.
Sometimes I feel a bit crazed, a bit lost, because I'm dealing with things that I didn't have to deal with a few years ago, and it's so overwhelming sometimes. But I think it's normal because it's all part of growing up.
It's easier to decide what's right and wrong. You know what's right and wrong. You know that you're not supposed to do certain things, but it's harder not to do them because you've got so much pressure around you. Go out there and do this and you'll be with us. So it's confusing.
When we're older, we have peer pressure, like things like sex, drugs. As you get older, it's really harder for me to know who I am because ads on TV and your friends are both putting like pressure on you to be something else, and you don't know if it's right or wrong, and you're really confused about who you might be. For some people, it's what you wear, how much money you have, what activities you do, or who you hang out with, what you look like, what you get judged on instead of who you are inside.
Being popular isn't, and it's not that important to me. It's important to have friends.
I think you're okay in life as long as you have friends who really care about you.
But now that I'm older, I am a lot more conscious about other people's feelings, and I'm trying to be real kind to people.
Parents are the hardest part of growing up because when you get older, it becomes important to be by yourself. So you start pulling away from your parents and they're chasing after you and you're pulling away and they're coming after you, and it gets annoying for you and it gets annoying for them. Sometimes I feel like they forget that they were my age once and they made their mistakes and I'm going to make mine.
As you get older, you begin to realize what parents want for you and what's important to them. It's important to you, and it's easier now to interact with my parents.
Sometimes I'm glad that I'm getting older, but sometimes I wish I was a kid again.
A girl's rate of growth usually slows down around 15, while a boy will continue growing for another year or more. By the time they reach their late teens or early 20s, they're physically mature people.
The boy's shoulders are broader than the girl's, and his hips are narrower.
The girl's breasts are developed, and she's shorter and lighter than the boy.
But again, not everyone grows up alike. All of these people are 18 years old.
I think when a person becomes a grown-up, they're 18 because they're legally an adult.
No, being grown up does not mean I've turned 18, I can vote now, I'm grown up. Being grown up means that I'm responsible enough to take care of myself, and if I have kids, I'm responsible enough to take care of them.
I think it's your mind, the way you think, makes you grown up.
Late 20s or early 30s is when you're really an adult.
There's definitely not a set age or time when someone becomes an adult. It depends totally on the individual. It depends on the circumstances that you grow up with, the friends you have, and your personal maturity.
There are a lot of good things about growing up. You get more independence, you get money, you don't have parents writing you constantly, you can get a car, maybe.
And you get to have more freedom to yourself, and you don't have to depend on your parents all the time.
Adults treat you as though you're an adult also, and they, instead of looking down to you, they treat you as though you're on the same level. It feels good to make your own decisions and to know that when things work out good, it was because of you and not because of your parents or someone else.
I'm pretty much looking forward to the privileges of driving and voting.
I think that what's after high school is one of the most important parts of growing up. And my concern is getting a good college, getting a good job, and raising a family.
We would love to have children, and I think we're going to wait at least another 2 or 3 years. We've been married for about 2 years, and we have a little bit more schooling left and getting settled in our careers.
No, I think there are a lot of couples that are definitely not cut out for parenthood.
And we respect that.
Yeah.
We have some friends that don't have children and probably never will, and they're wonderful, but we chose to have a family.
Human growth begins when a sperm cell and an egg cell unite.
During sexual intercourse, the erect penis enters the vagina. Semen is ejaculated and deposited in the woman's vagina. The sperm cells in the semen move into the uterus and into the fallopian tubes.
If a mature egg cell is present, and if one of the sperm cells succeeds in breaking through the egg cell wall, fertilization takes place.
The chromosomes from the father's sperm cell combine with the chromosomes in the mother's egg cell, and this determines the physical heredity of the child. What the child will look like, what color skin and hair and eyes it will have, and whether it will be a boy or a girl.
The fertilized egg cell grows and divides as it travels to the uterus. One cell becomes 2, 2 become 4, and so on. The egg attaches itself to the blood-rich lining of the uterus wall, and now it can draw its nourishment from the blood system of the mother.
The rate of growth inside the uterus is spectacular. At the end of 1 month, the egg has multiplied until it is 10,000 times its original size. Eventually, the cells form into a fetus. At this stage, the fetus is only an inch long.
Nourishment and oxygen from the mother pass through the placenta, an organ in the uterus, and are delivered to the umbilical cord, and through the cord to the fetus.
The umbilical cord also carries away waste materials. As the fetus grows, the uterus is elastic enough to expand to many times its original size, and the mother's abdomen stretches along with it. This is a living human fetus inside the mother's uterus, photographed through a special instrument. This film was made without hurting either the fetus or the mother. This fetus continued to develop, was born, and is now an active child.
After about 4 months, the mother may begin to feel the growing baby moving its arms and legs. As it gets bigger, the baby gets even more active inside the mother.
Yes, we have felt movement of the baby. The baby is moving at this point.
Baby does move a lot. It's wonderful.
Shortly before birth, the fetus usually turns to a head-down position. About 9 months after the egg cell was fertilized, the baby is ready to be born.
The muscles of the uterus contract and begin to push the baby out. The walls of the vagina expand to make room. And finally, with some outside help, the baby is born. The umbilical cord is clamped and cut. The mother and the baby don't feel it any more than you feel it when you have your hair cut.
I mean, responsibility is the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely have, there's so much that you can do with the child, and the decisions that you make early on are going to, affect that child's life from then on.
Yes, I plan on helping in the rearing of the children. I helped make it, so I'm going to help raise it.
I do personally want to get married someday and have a family because I'm sure the experience would be very, very good, and I'm always looking forward to having a wife and kids that I can love.
I definitely see myself in the future with a husband and with children.
I want to know why the woman always has to have a baby.
How does your body know when to stop growing?
I wonder when I'll know when the right time is to have sex.
If a mom or is pregnant and she's like smoking or addicted to some kind of drug, does that mean that the baby's going to be addicted?
Yeah, I always wondered how the first man and woman how they figured out to have kids, because I mean no one showed them, so how did they figure that out?
You think about your parents being grandparents, and then maybe our child having children, and then life going on, and on and on. Life goes on.
Okay, we're all still here. Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Everyone's sitting upright. No one fainted from that. We're all okay. Okay. I mean, I don't have to. It doesn't have to be me to answer the question. If you'd rather, if you're from Manor Oaks or Hillside, and you want to speak to Lisa or Brendan, one of us could speak for Kerry, and we could speak for ourselves. If anybody has any questions.
I'm also going to pull up the email while you guys are asking questions. I'm going to pull up the email list. So feel free to just write down our emails if you want. If you can't think of a question now and you want to, ask another time. So there's our emails, but you can ask questions now as well. So for the students, if you don't mind, Mr. McHugh, I'm just going to say something. What we do is we give them the option also of asking questions out loud. And we also give like a private box that we have where they can write questions anonymously if they're not comfortable asking those questions in front of the class. And then we would go, if they're appropriate. We only answer questions that are on those videos that you just saw. So if they want to go into detail about something and the video did not go into detail about it, we do not go into detail about it. And we do tell them to go home and speak to their parents if they have more information. But the only information we're approved to tell them is what you just witnessed right now. So if that helps at all. So does anyone have any questions or anything for any of us or the program in general?
Ms. Santos, I have a question. When are you planning to show the video to the 5th graders?
It's going to be probably the week before the March break, the spring break that we have coming up. It's not set in stone. We got this out of the way. We're going to get our remote classes out of the way, and then we're going to handle the in-person classes. So it's basically going to take one period, which is what it takes. Usually if we were doing the whole program, we do like the co-ed video and then individual girl video, boy video. But as Mr. Mercurio said at the beginning, we're not going to be showing those individual videos this year. We're just going to stick to the co-ed. And all the individual videos do is go more in depth into menstruation or go more in depth into what the boys need to know. But it just wouldn't work with the cohort system we have this year. So once we have that figured out, but we're kind of all figuring it's going to be done before that spring break. You'll get a permission slip. You will get a permission slip home that you'll have to sign in order to have your child approved to do it or not. And any of you, if you're remote parents, yours is going to be coming home digitally.
Got it. Thanks.
I thought everybody was coming home digitally, but I'm not sure about that. I thought they were working on a Google form for everybody to send in digitally. That's what I thought I heard. But either way, you'll find out about it.
You'll get a permission slip either way, yes.
Ms. Santos?
Yes.
So will we know the date then? I know we're getting a permission, just so we
because I'm going to tell the kids what the date will be, and then I'll get the word out to you guys soon after that.
Well, my plan, Mrs. Santos, my plan was just to have Afraz ask you all the questions, so I can't do that anymore.
I know people like to do that. They like to put the pressure on us. That's totally fine. I can talk about this as easily as I can talk about my hand or my elbow, but there are some things that we are not able to answer. So yeah, any of the tricky ones, you got it, Mrs. Ahmed.
What really has happened is I've been doing this with them for a long time. They feel comfortable with us, and they feel comfortable in a group of their peers. I have older children, and when they were this age, I was like, oh, okay, let me try to be a good dad. I'll bring the videos home. They like laughed in my face. So it's not the same thing. So when you're with your peers and when they're with teachers that they know and they trust, it's just a different dynamic, and it's a perfect environment for them to hear it. And once kids do ask questions, other kids start to ask questions. We don't push it. We're not like, come on, you don't have a question. That's not the point of the program. But once kids do ask questions, it opens it up. And because of our relationship with them, there's nothing cynical. It's very innocent. I always tell my parents, I would love for you to be in the room, just sitting next to the room. Some of them are really, really thoughtful questions, and none of them are trying to trip us up or slang or dirty or whatever you want to say. They're very good if they ask, and it's because of the environment that they're in. And there is something to be said about being in a group, being in school, compared to being home. I mean, it's no offense to being home. Kids feel comfortable in school with their friends, and they just might feel more comfortable in that setting to ask those questions. And the whole point is for them to get information. That's the point. It's not a moral thing. Hey, it's like, here's the information. No matter what you hear from your peers or whatever the jokes are, whatever kids talk about now, here are the facts, and then that's it. And then, and then that's where it goes from there. So it's actually a very pretty innocent kind of thing.
Does anyone have any other questions?
I have one more question.
Sure.
Do you have like a set of questions that generally are asked and how you should answer them? Is there any website you can direct us to and stuff like that, just to be prepared in case that does happen?
No, I do usually have this for the parent meeting, and I guess because we're remote, I didn't even think to bring it out. I will be right back. Yes.
Okay.
The kids seem to be very interested in conjoined twins. That comes up. Fraternal twins, identical twins. As soon as one person asks a question about that, it goes through the roof. Then there's a lot about that. And then there's some really thoughtful, like I've gotten asked every year, how many sperm come out? And now in the day of technology, I have my phone. I'm like, okay, I'll tell you right now, because I didn't know that answer. And I would look it up and I would know. So I'm saying that in a way that the questions are very thought out, or they're like real, like the kids, once they break through the embarrassment of those pictures, like I tell the GCP kids, I hear one kid say a word, I'm hitting pause on the next picture. And they're like, no, don't do it. And then like we get through it that way, we have a few laughs. But the questions all really turn out to be very thoughtful or very innocent, and they really get like a curiosity about things that they, may not know about. And it's really very innocent stuff.
Okay.
I just added in the chat 4 different books that I've recommended to parents before.
Okay.
I have personally never used these books, but these are books that parents during these meetings have over the years said, oh, this is great. And then other parents chime in saying, yes, I've used this one. There's also a Girl Scout book. I do not have the name of it, but I know some people that are affiliated with the Girl Scouts, they talk about a book that they've discussed every year. If you have a female, which you do not, but those are 4 that may be helpful in answering some questions. And feel free, I'll put up the emails again if you want, to email any of us. If you get a question from your child and you're not sure how to answer it and you're like, deer in headlights, then don't worry. Email us, say, how would you answer this? And we would be more than happy to help you. I know I that's open for me, but I'm sure Mr. Mercurio and Mr. Green feel the same way, and Miss Rudd as well. I'll just share that one more time in the emails, just so you guys have it.
Great. Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
No problem. Anybody else? No? All right. Well, if you want to view this again, it is being recorded. I'm going to actually stop the recording right now if no one has any other questions.
Okay. I'm going to watch it tonight.